Let me guess. You're investing every month, but it doesn't actually feel like you're getting anywhere. You've got the direct debit set up, money's going into your stocks and shares ISA, the number goes up, but it's going up slowly. Your life hasn't changed, retirement still feels miles away, and your big goals still feel unrealistic. And deep down, you're wondering why this responsible plan doesn't feel like wealth. Here's the uncomfortable truth. For most UK workers, the promise that consistent tax-free investing will make you wealthy is quite misleading. Not because investing is bad, and not because you're doing it wrong, but it's because the system assumes you already have something, which is enough spare capital for compounding to actually matter. And until you understand that, you can do everything right and still feel stuck. Now, I want to be clear. ISAs are brilliant. They're a tax-free growth and it's a powerful tool. But it's a tool that actually works best when you have significant capital to begin with. For the average earner, it's like being given a Formula One car, but only having enough fuel to get to the end of your driveway. Let's look at the maths. The median full-time salary in the UK is around £35,000. After tax, pension and living costs, let's say you can heroically invest £300 a month, that will be £3,600 a year. Over 10 years, with an optimistic 7% annual return, you would have contributed £36,000 and your pot would be roughly worth £50,000. It sounds okay, right? But now, let's factor in reality. Over that same decade, inflation would have quietly eaten your progress. While the government points to the official Consumer Price Index, which is 3.8% at the time of this video, that figure is just a broad average. For an office worker, the lifestyle inflation on the things that actually matter, such as rent, rail fares, childcare, and even your morning coffee, often outpaces those official numbers. If your costs are rising at 5% or 6%, while the official rate is lower, your 7% investment return isn't a massive win. It's barely a rescue mission. You've been disciplined for a decade, but in real terms, you've barely moved the needle on your purchasing power. The gains, when viewed against the rising cost of your actual life, are largely an illusion. This is the hidden truth about tax-free gains. When your principal amounts are small, the tax you're saving is insignificant. Saving 20% capital gains tax on £5,000 profit is £1,000. It's nice, but it's not life-changing. The real barrier isn't the tax man. It's your ability to generate a large enough pile of capital in the first place. The wealthy benefit from ISAs because they're shielding massive gains on massive investments. You're trying to use the same tool to build the foundation, and it's like trying to dig a fountain with a teaspoon. The system is working exactly as designed. It rewards those who already have capital while giving the rest of us a tantalizing but ultimately ineffective tool. So if your ISA isn't the magic bullet, what's actually holding you back? It's not one thing, it's a perfect storm of three wealth killers that systematically dismantle the traditional investing model for the average person. First and foremost, and most brutally, are stagnant wages. Did you know that since the 2008 financial crisis, real-term wages for the many in the UK have been flat or have even declined? While house prices and bills have skyrocketed, your earning power has been stagnant. This is the fundamental crack in the foundation. Compound growth is a powerful force, but it needs fuel. If you're only adding tiny stagnant amounts of fuel each year, the fire never really gets going. So what you're basically doing is you're trying to heat a house with a candle. The second killer is the silent fee structure that eats small portfolios alive. Platform fees, fund management fees, and transaction costs might seem like rounding errors, just tiny fractions of a percent. But on a small portfolio, these costs are a massive drain on your momentum. You need to focus on the compounding effects of fees. Take a look at this. Over 30 years, a 1% total fee, which is the platform and your fund fees, can swallow 25 to 30% of your final investment pot. Mind-blowing, right? This is the wealth killer that's really hitting home. You aren't just losing that 1% every year, you're losing all the future growth that money would have generated. For the UK office worker using a high-cost legacy platform, you're effectively handing over nearly a third of your retirement to a middleman just for the privilege of clicking buy. In 2026, with the rise of flat fee platforms and low-cost trackers, paying a percentage based In 2026, with the rise of flat fee platforms and low-cost trackers, paying a percentage-based fee on a growing pot is an optional tax on your future. But the third and most misunderstood killer is real inflation versus the government figures. Officially, inflation might be 3 to 4%. But for a working person, the inflation on the things that actually matter, such as rent, childcare, energy, food, has been consistently running at double that for years. So while your investments might nominally grow at 7%, your real-world purchasing power is being eroded at 8 to 10%. This is getting you nowhere. This combination of stagnant wages feeding a small portfolio, which is then nibbled away by fees and obliterated by real-world inflation, is why just investing consistently is naive advice for most people today. It's a recipe for treading water, not building wealth. So if the traditional path is broken, what is the alternative? We just need to fix that foundation first. The solution isn't to try harder at a failing strategy, it's to change the strategy entirely. You need to shift your focus from your portfolio's performance to your personal profit and loss statement. Your number one priority, before you even think about which index fund to buy, is to increase your earning power. Think of it like this. Wealth building has 3 distinct phases. Phase 1 is income growth. This is where you aggressively increase your active income through side hustles, skill building, promotions, or even changing careers. Phase 2 is capital accumulation. This is where you use that higher income to rapidly build a sizable lump sum, clearing your high-interest debt, building a proper emergency fund, and saving a chunk of that capital that's actually meaningful. Only then do you enter phase 3, which is intelligent investing. Now, with a larger capital base and a higher monthly surplus, the maths of investing completely changes. Let me show you why this is non-negotiable. Let's go back to our example. On a £35,000 salary, scraping together £300 a month is a struggle. But what if you focus all your energy for 18 months on increasing your income? Maybe you learn a high-value skill like coding, digital marketing, or a trade. Maybe you start a side business. You can go from earning £35,000 to £50,000 or even £60,000. Suddenly, having £500 or £1,000 a month isn't just possible, it's manageable. The game has changed. If we run the numbers now, investing £1,000 a month instead of £300 over the same 10 years at 7% doesn't just give you a slightly bigger number. You'd have contributed £120,000 and your pot would be worth over £165,000. That's more than 3 times the outcome from the first scenario. The power of compounding is finally working for you because you're giving it substantial fuel. You fix the input and the output takes care of itself. Your ISA is now the powerful tool it was meant to be because you're actually putting meaningful money into it. The primary investment you need to make is not in the stock market, it's in yourself. Your skills, your network, your ability to generate value. That is what the real leverage is. The reason most investing fails isn't because of bad maths, it's bad psychology. The traditional method sets you up for psychological failure because the progress is invisible and agonizingly slow. Watching a number on a screen creep up by a few percent a year doesn't feel like wealth building. It feels like watching paint dry. This is why you need to redefine what success looks like. Feeling wealthy isn't about your portfolio value. It's about achieving tangible milestones that increase your security and freedom. Your first milestone shouldn't be £10,000 invested. It should be debt-free. The psychological weight that lifts when you clear a credit card or loan is immense. That's a real win. Your next milestone is a fully funded emergency fund, which is 3 to 6 months of essential expenses sitting in a high-interest savings account. The peace of mind that comes from knowing you can handle a car breakdown or a boiler replacement without touching your investments is a form of wealth that your portfolio statement can't capture. These milestones create a sense of momentum that the stock market alone can't provide. They are victories you can control. The market will do what it does, but you can always control your debt payoff and your savings rate. This is how you build the resilience to stay the course during the inevitable downturns. When the market drops 20% and your portfolio is flashing red, it's a lot easier to hold firm if you're not also worrying about how you'll pay next month's rent. You've already built your financial shock absorbers. You need to fight the comparison trap, especially in the age of social media. You'll see people boasting about their crypto moonshots or their latest hot stock tip. Ignore all of that. That is gambling, not investing. Your strategy is boring by design. It's about consistent, disciplined execution over decades, not dramatic swings. Measure your success against your own plan and your own milestones, not against someone else's highlight reels. The real wealth building happens in the quiet, boring years of consistent contribution, not in the loud, exciting moments of speculation. Your greatest advantage is time and consistency, not luck or genius. By mastering the psychology of focusing on what you can control, celebrating tangible milestones, and ignoring the noise, you can turn a mathematical plan into a sustainable and ultimately successful lifelong habit. The fundamental shift is this: stop prioritizing your portfolio and start prioritizing your profit and loss statement. Focus on earning more, then invest intelligently. That's the only way to make the system work for you. If you want to know more on how to fully utilize your salary, check out my video on how to use your salary differently in 2026, which most UK workers won't. I'll see you on that next video.